Hi everyone, Ray from Pro String here with another racket restringing tutorial. As you can already see, we'll be doing a badminton racket in this video. It is a Prince Black Pearl 6.5 XP. Seems like a much older model. Don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen a Prince racket in maybe ever. At least badminton Prince racket. Therefore, I think it might be the first time that I'm doing a Prince racket. So it actually follows the tennis racket system they had once many years ago. I think it was 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. Triple threat technology that they launched for tennis, but it turns out they did the same for badminton. So again, this is a Prince Black Pearl 6.5 XP badminton racket. As you can see, we're going to add our two first main strings in the middle, one to each side. Stringing pattern, I'd imagine, I'm going to go through that with you guys now. 22 by 23. I was going to say 22 by 22 or 21, but it's 23. So 11 main strings to each side. That means we've already got 1 in each side. So 1 minus 11 is 10. So we're going to count 10. It's a full set of string. I'm actually going to reduce the length of it. It comes in a package, individual package. Today's string is the Yonex BG66 Ultimax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and a bit. 13 and a half, more than plenty. Just get away a little bit of the excess string. Always comes extra, a little bit extra at least, in case you're stringing an oversized. This is an oversized, guys. This is a slight oversized racket. Don't think it says the square inches, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't say. Anyway, we're going to be stringing it with 23 pounds of tension. Client wants a balance of control and power. This racket recommends not to go over 25 pounds. It does say more or less. So that, I guess, more or less, I guess you can go, the recommendation, you can go 3 over or 3 under. But yeah, this client's brought 2 and we're going to go for 23 pounds of tension on both of them. But anyway, going back to what I was saying before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So counting my mains is different to counting the length of the string I need for the full amount of the racket. As you may have seen, I counted 13 and a half full lengths of the racket, including the grip. So all the way. I know you can't see the grip, but yes, there you have it. Clamp always at the top in badminton, but I mean always, 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 because there isn't a neck or a throat in any badminton racket that at least I've seen. So it goes from the head straight into the shaft. So there you go, our first main string. And as always, guys, 3 to each side, yeah? Compensating the tension evenly to each side. 3. We'll go 3, 3, 3 all the way until we're left with what might be less than 3. 9 divided by 3. You can do 3 lots of 3. And then you finish your 10th and 11th. So 2, 3, 3, 3. That's 9. Plus 2 is 11 mains. Okay, guys. Keep this clamp. When you start your first pull, make sure that the clamp is nicely set up upwards. Don't let the clamp fall down. Today's the 14th of March, guys. Just gone 11:04 a.m. London, UK time. 14th of March 2024. Not far away from St. Patrick's Day, which is actually my brother's birthday. Sometimes, from time to time, because badminton strings are so thin, they can slide in the tension head. There we go, guys, 3 to each side. Now 3 more. And another 3 to that side, and we change sides again. So that's 6 to one side that we have, and we've got 3 on this side, which in a minute we'll have 6. Sometimes the plastic or the feather shuttles leave, when you frame it, leaves a, I'm just trying to clean the racket for the client. Up here again as well, leaves a little residue from the shuttles, which is quite normal. Anyway, right, we've got 6 to each side. Now it doesn't matter which side we continue to, as long as there's 6 and 6, just as when there is 3 and 3, it doesn't matter what side you go to. 7. Check the camera real quick, make sure it looks good. Good. Should I zoom in a bit more? Why not? Let's zoom in a tiny bit more and more. All right, let's leave it there, I think. Guys, leave me some feedback, please. Good or bad. If it's not great feedback, then be as helpful as possible and tell me what I can do better to make me a better stringer, yeah. This is 8, string at 23 pounds of tension, guys. The Yonex BG66 Ultimax, which I believe is 0.65 millimeters. Very thin string. If you're using plastic, don't use the thinner stuff, despite it being really nice to play with, yes. However, slipped again. However, if you're going to use a very thin string when you're playing with plastic shuttles, get ready for a quick break. I don't know how long it'll last, but it'll last a lot less than using something thicker like Yonex BG65. A little bit of advice there. Yonex BG65, if you're not looking to break frequently, it's at 0.70. So plastic, of course, if you don't know, well, plastic is very aggressive or very harsh on the strings. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna tie our knot on our 8th because our first cross is on the 9th string, and our knot is a shared hole, should I say? Ooh. Parnell knot, guys, as always. Down under, just make a very simple single knot, down through, back through the loop that knot that I first did, and then through this loop as well. Should look like that. Find your You can see if I pull on one side, it's either gonna not work or work. So if I'm pulling on the wrong side, it's gonna pull my knot outwards or pull it apart, take it apart, however you wanna say it. I'm actually not gonna do my knot yet. The knot's ready to go. I'll show you why in a moment. I have a little bit of a different approach to the first 3 cross strings. Just gives me more space. Instead of pulling that string and covering the first 3 crosses, gives me a bit more space. I don't have to struggle so much sometimes to pull the strings through. So a lot of the times your main strings will cover plenty of holes at the bottom and the top, as they do in every sport, every racket sport that has strings at least. Tennis, squash, and badminton. So we're gonna do 3. Like I said, our first cross is on the 9th main. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a shared hole, cross and main string in one hole. One for it. Using your right hand or left hand, depending which side the racket's on and how it's facing, to move your string up and down. Very, very important, guys. Very important. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself a nice sharper edge maybe. That'll help me get through. At the moment there's a little bit of blocking. But there you go, that's the reason why I don't like pulling my string, my knot just yet. There you go. Sharp edge normally does the job, because I don't need more blocked holes or string on top of string. It's already sometimes a bit tricky. But this normally helps, at least on the first 3, like I say. Okay. That's the 3rd one. So now, what? It's actually caught on my lever from my lock. This machine is a Wilson Bayardo original. It has a locking system, the little lever underneath. But anyway, back to our knot. Don't pull hard on the knot, guys. I'm being super careful because firstly it's a very thin string, and the last thing I want to do is snap it. It's not even a string that we have provided, it's the client's, and the last thing I want to do is mess it up and have to buy the client the same string, and of course then we'll lose money. It's not all about money, but you don't want to work for free either. All right. It doesn't matter what side you guys have your short side, in other words your knot. It doesn't matter if it's that side, this side. It makes no difference normally in badminton rackets, unless it's a babolat. There's a few babolats out there that you have to follow the patterns, but off the top of my head I don't remember other ones that you have to follow certain stringing patterns, or which side to start your what side to have your short side on. Short side again is the first, is normally the shorter side where you're going to tie your knot on the mains, especially if you're doing a 1-piece 2-knot stringing job. If you're doing 4 knots, then you don't really have a short side. They're both classed as short side, I guess you could say. But like in this case, doing this 1-piece 2 knots, my short side was on this side, and I didn't have to really be careful, particularly where I was wanting to finish. Unlike tennis, sometimes you need to make sure you finish on one side or another. Not that many models out there in tennis, at least. Squash, yeah, there's a few in squash as well. So you do need to be careful depending on the rackets and models, etc., brands. If you're not familiar with many different models, whether it's squash, tennis, or badminton, be careful, take a picture of the racket first, just in case it's an older version, maybe less popular and less information online. Sometimes I get stuck as well. Well, not sometimes, but very from time to time. I've now kind of learned over the last 7 years I've been doing badminton rackets now, 6 or 7 at least. I'm kind of familiar with most of the stringing patterns, but at the start I was taking pictures of most of the rackets and seeing how they were strung, at least in the pictures. Take away that part of the string. So yeah, I used to take pictures of the rackets and try to give me a good reference how it was strung. Just be careful that it hasn't been strung incorrectly. I've seen that before as well. Especially in badminton, where a lot of times your first cross string will either be on the 8th or 9th. 7, I don't think I've seen 7 before. On your 7th main, normally a shared hole. The Forza, F-O-R-Z-A racket has different stringing patterns as well. It tends to have more strings sometimes as well. I encountered a couple of frames the other day that kind of caught me off guard. It was okay. Luckily, when I was counting or measuring my mains, I noticed there was more strings on it than their norm. Most Forza rackets don't have, for example, shared holes at all. They have a different stringing pattern altogether normally. But I don't know all their models, of course, so maybe it's just I haven't seen them before, or I just don't remember. There are so many different rackets and models and stuff. Between the 3 sports, tennis, squash, and badminton, it can get a little bit crazy, and I have a terrible memory. But it seems it's quite good for this kind of thing, remembering certain things. 11:16 a.m. London, UK time, guys. Stringing in Acton, West London from my house. Oh, very busy. Very, very, very busy. It's great. It's great. Let life test you. Let everything test you a little bit. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's stressful. Especially if you have a family of 5, 3 young kids as I do. Not easy. Days are just flying by at the moment. I do tend to go to Spain plenty on holiday because I work myself into the ground. I don't really take days off. Work for myself, which is a beautiful thing. But sometimes I wonder, is it just easier to work for somebody else, be told what to do, let them reap the rewards? But running a business is more stressful. If you're running a successful business, you will work your ass off, as I do. I like to think, at least. I'm not saying I'm the best, but when you're stringing every night till 11 p.m. I stop at about 3, 4 p.m. Spend time with the kids until about 7, 7:30, 8, till they go to bed, and then I'll restart my night shift. So I am pretty full on. But yeah, running your own business is a great thing. But like I said, it can be very challenging sometimes. Guys, I don't know if you're seeing how I'm supporting my string every time I pull one. And then how I'm moving the strings up and down, which is very important. So these couple of things are your bread and butter. Survival mode, you have to do this. If not, you will encounter some unhappy clients. So as you've seen, again, watch it now when I pull my next string. Just watch how I support the string ever so slightly so it stays into position. It doesn't move up, it doesn't move down. That will help me not move the strings at the end of the stringing job. Hold the string just there, no more, no less. Just don't let it come all the way up into the racket. Let's say not all the way up, but instead of being there, right, nice and straight here. Okay, got it? You better got it. Whew. This is my 3rd racket already this morning. I'm about to get, once I get off this video, I'm going to get a courier. I've got 3 rackets here that need to go on in my receptions. One guy's quite desperate to get his racket back today. Try to avoid using couriers, but sometimes I just don't have a choice because I need to be here stringing. So it's worth me sending a courier. My hourly rate is, you know, more or less I can do 3 rackets an hour. If there were 3 rackets that the client provides their own string, let's say back-to-back rackets, 3 rackets in a row, I can do it in an hour. Especially if I'm not doing a video, I'm just focused on stringing. maybe watching a little bit of TV in the background, looking at about 3 rackets an hour. Problem is, not the problem is, I have to, well, it's part of stringing, cut the strings out, then I have to invoice the client, etc., etc. So on a really good run, looking at 3 rackets an hour, £60 an hour is what I'm kind of rating at. So again, when it comes to coaching, for example, tennis coach, it used to be my main source of income, which is no longer the case. I pick and choose who I want to work with, which is nice because I'm very limited time. So my good and loyal clients that had been with me from the beginning are the ones that I still do coach. Happy to take on new clients if need be, but at a higher rate. So if you want me to move away from my stringing machine, you need to make it worthwhile. You need to value my time, value my knowledge as a tennis coach at least. So, you know, I have all kinds of clients actually that I do still work with. Some want me to travel an hour each way. That's an hour of my time. So in the nicest way possible, then I have to pay my travel as well, which is £60 an hour. So I do have clients that will pay for me. Yeah, do the maths. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but you know, just yeah, value yourself, guys. That's what I'm trying to get to. If you're busy, if you have high demand in your stringing company or whatever it is, make sure you value yourself, because if you don't value yourself, nobody else will. Guys, I'm running through this racket, as you can see, sorry, and I'm rambling on about other stuff, more on the business aspect of stringing. I'm running a stringing company, but here you go. I'm just going to run through this with you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on our 9th cross string, shared hole, 10 shared hole, skip 1, 11 shared hole. On the top it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shared hole, 8 shared hole, 9 shared hole, 10. So it's only at the bottom where you're going to skip 10 to 11, you're skipping 1 hole. On the top of the frame, you are not skipping at all. You're just shared hole, shared hole, shared hole, until your last main should be, sorry, your last cross should be on the 7th main. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 2 more weaves. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If you need me to explain it, drop us a comment. Should be pretty straightforward though. So the last cross string is on our 7th main, which again is a shared hole. I'm not going to have enough string here. All right, so no more stringing 1 in front. As you've seen, I'm just stringing 1 ahead, 1 in front, because it makes the weave much easier. As to like what I've got no choice to do this, but is weave 1 at a time instead of having 1 weave and then weave another. It makes it more difficult, and especially when you get to the end of each racket, where the tension's now well distributed and much higher throughout the racket, which is completely normal. So like I was saying, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 1 more to go. I've got my apprentice, Kai, keen guy, keen 16-year-old, looking to make some monies. But it seems that we keep not having much time to teach him. He's done 5 or 6 rackets now. Problem is, if you don't do at least a few a week, you will forget, and you just want to do as many as you can in a short period of time to engrave it in your head. My idea was to hopefully have him on board by now, or at least before I left on holiday for Easter. Flying to Spain on the 28th, getting out of my little jail here. But I don't think he's going to be up to scratch, unfortunately. As much as I'd love him to be. So I can start paying a bit of cash per racket. Cutting away the excess string. My knot will be on my 6th, so 1 hole just over. Again, we're going to tie my knot on my anchor string. You're going to tie it on your main. Don't start tying your knots, guys, in shared holes ever. Unless it's your own rack and you don't give a crap, then fine. Parnell knot as always, guys. probably hard to see because I've got the clamp really close to the knot. It's not touching the racket, it's not touching the grommet, nothing. There you have it, guys. Got a phone call coming through. I will call them back in a moment. Chop this off. Right, hopefully your racket just comes off nice and easy, as it has done for me. Always a good indication. Straighten up your strings. Strings are quite straight this spike. Cool. Right, again, sorry. Prince Black Pearl 6.5 XP. All right, very rare to see a Prince racket in badminton aspect anyway. Right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a good one and happy stringing. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.